Hey guys, today is Saturday, November 19th. I'm happy to say that I was able to get my testosterone prescription back in order. So I was down 2 shots, but I'm feeling a little better now. When I was down those 2 shots, I was starting to feel tired. I wasn't feeling right. So luckily, I finally got a hold of my hormone doctor and was able to go into his office, get my prescription redone. And so I have 3 months, and we should be good for those 3 months. He already scheduled me for a follow-up appointment in 3 months, so hopefully I will not have to go through hoops and ladders and whatever to try to get a hold of him now, because I can go see him in those 3 months. But feeling better, grateful to be feeling better. Allergies are kind of bugging me today, so excuse my sniffling. But I wanted to make a video sooner. I haven't made one in a while, but after the election, I found myself kind of struggling with my depression on some days. The first couple of days, I really just didn't feel like doing anything. And, I know that people were looking towards me to lead a charge, to be positive and be strong, but I wasn't very strong myself in those moments. So I felt a little guilty, but after a good therapy session, my therapist reminded me that self-care was definitely needed right now. And it was okay for me to take care of myself first before I tried to take care of anything else or lead a charge or do anything to that extent. So I know that I've seen a lot of things on social media after the election that I've seen a lot of ugly in the past few weeks, and it's been disturbing, but also I've seen a lot of carelessness, and I've seen people just putting some stuff out there that isn't, I don't know. Best way to explain it is that I see a lot of folks just bewildered as to why some of the marginalized groups are scared right now, and they're acting like it's ridiculous for us to be scared. And not just the LGBT community, but people of different races, of different cultures from other countries, women, some women in general, and I don't blame them, talks of challenging Roe versus Wade, come on. With LGBT people, there's so much for us to be afraid of. Just knowing Mike Pence, and it just floors me that there's so many people out there who have completely neglected, or not neglected, but have been completely oblivious to what he has done and tried to do to the LGBT community. And that's one of the reasons why we're afraid, is that he's someone who was trying to make it legal to arrest same-sex couples for trying to get a marriage license. And just the bills that he passed in his state, my gosh, he is very hateful towards the LGBT community, and he's in favor of taking away funding for HIV and AIDS to give that funding to conversion therapy, which is something that should have been outlawed so long ago because it's so dangerous to LGBT youth. Yet he's in support of that. That's pure ignorance, and it's super dangerous. I just don't understand why people haven't researched this, or they act like it's a surprise, or even worse, they act like he didn't do or say those things, and they act like it doesn't exist. It's sad, and that's why we're afraid. And there are families with immigrants who are afraid. There are Muslim Americans who are afraid of just walking down the street. They're more afraid than they were before. It's ridiculous because there's been so many people who have been emboldened to act out on their hatred, on their racism, on their bigotry, and to do so violently. And that's another thing we're scared of. And rightfully so, because it's been happening quite a bit. That's why we're scared. And that's why, we're trying to create some safe spaces for people who are in marginalized groups so they can get some of the assistance they need, so they can get that courage and that self-confidence built up, that it's okay to be who they are. And that's another thing, is that lately I've seen people ranting about safe spaces when they obviously have no clue what they're about. But on top of that, the thing that bothers me more is that the people ranting about safe spaces, sorry, my dog's whining, Makoto. The people whining about safe spaces are the people who would never in their lives ever have a use for them. Really? Let me break this down for you in a really easy way then. This is a coffee mug. This is a hot dog bun. A hot dog bun has no need for a coffee mug. But it's okay for the coffee mug to still exist, even though the hot dog bun clearly does not need a coffee mug. But the hot dog bun shouldn't waste its existence on complaining about the existence of a coffee mug. They can both exist, and this is perfectly okay. If that's not the easiest way to break it down, I don't know what is. If you don't need a coffee mug, then be a happy little hot dog bun in your own world where none of this stuff affects you. That's cool. That is more power to you. Be a happy hot dog bun. But don't waste your time and your breath complaining about coffee mugs when you obviously are a hot dog bun that has no use for a coffee mug and no reason to need a coffee mug. Come on. Seriously. It is that easy. Just be happy. Be grateful. If you've never had to worry about whether or not you're going to run into the wrong person on the street and they're going to attack you for who you are, then be grateful. If you've never had to worry about your role as a woman and your potential choices and what could potentially happen to you if you're sexually assaulted, be grateful. If you've never had to be scared of knowing you're going to face something that's going to trigger your PTSD because you were sexually or physically assaulted, then be grateful. If you've never had to worry about whether or not you're going to survive through a routine traffic stop, be grateful. If you've never had to worry about whether or not your family was in danger of being split apart or that your family was in danger in general, be grateful. Be very grateful for it. Be grateful that people don't look at the color of your skin and judge you. Be grateful that people don't call you a freak or a faggot or anything like that because you're part of the LGBT community. Be grateful that you're not a person whose skin is any darker than alabaster and that no one is telling you to go back over the border. Be grateful if none of that has happened to you. Just be grateful. Be grateful that no one chance build a wall to your kids. Be grateful that nobody picks on your kids or calls them a faggot or threatens them. Be grateful. I don't understand why people can't just be grateful instead of being completely insensitive to people who are in marginalized groups. I mean, there's very legitimate reasons why they're afraid. There's very legitimate reasons why safe spaces are being created. And if we didn't need those safe spaces, that would be awesome. But how about if you're one of those people who doesn't need one, how about doing your part to try to make it so that way other people don't need them as well? Why not educate others? If you're staying silent, you're condoning this. Why stay silent, Instead, they're being vocal about coffee mugs when they're a hot dog bun. Really, you could put that energy into something much better. Come on. It's been a disheartening time, but I know that we have to stay strong, and I feel a lot better than I did initially about everything going on. And I feel like my purpose is to keep educating and educating and educating, because there are people, especially in the trans community, that have it so much worse. I mean, I'm so fortunate to have so many family members who support me, and to have a wife who supports me, to be in a workplace that supports me, in a company that supports me, and to have friends who support me, And I think that's been one of the hardest things, is that some of the people who I'm good friends with have said some things that have been really insensitive, and they don't realize that that affects me too. I mean, a trans woman is just as trans as a trans man, When you're saying things about her using the restroom she identifies with and saying and wishing violence upon her, you're wishing violence upon me and my community, I mean, I'm part of that group also. I mean, my wife is African American, she's part of a group that unfortunately can be subject to violence and be subject to racism. There's been people who have been emboldened to act out, to carry out that violence. And that's a scary thing also. And I'm not saying that's anybody's fault. I'm just saying that people have been emboldened to do it. I mean, you see it in the news. It's scary. It's genuinely scary. I live in a good community, but I still find myself wondering, is there going to come a day where I'm just going to run into the wrong person? And, it's not a matter of, oh, just walk away and ignore it. Because I know someone who was walking away, trying to run away and trying to ignore it, and was still attacked. And that's not fair. So don't sit there and tell me it's a matter of just ignore it, because tell that to my friend, because no, that's not how it went down. I don't know. I want things to be better. I want to be an example of things being better. I want to put better out there because people deserve better. But that's my spiel for this video. So if that makes anyone not like me, that's their loss. Anyhow, being the beer enthusiast I am, today we are drinking Real Ale Brewing Co. It is their white, which is Belgian-inspired wheat beer. I couldn't read the label very well, so it kind of intrigued me, so I grabbed that off the shelf, and it's delicious. So shout out to Real Ale Brewing Company, because that is delicious. So, recap. Remember what I said in this video. If you're a happy little hot dog bun, don't waste your breath. Don't waste your breath complaining about coffee mugs when you could be doing something a lot more productive to make the world a better place. Easy as that. Not judging you, I'm just saying knock it off, because it's foolish. But that is all I have for you today, so I will get another video churned out soon. I'm working with a new camera now, so I'm excited about that. Hopefully going to learn how to use my new editing software. But until then, I'm signing off for now, so thanks for watching, and I will see you all later.